Jai Gurudev, Namaste, good evening to all of you. Let us start our session with prayer. Let us sit straight and gently close our eyes. Take one deep, long breath in. Exhale deeply. Just witness your incoming and outgoing breath. Now we'll recite Om 3 times. Breathe in for Om. Om Sehna Bhavatu Sehnau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect us all together. May God accept us all together. Let us achieve strength together. Whatever we learn, it should be ever fresh. We should not hate each other. Let our adhyatmic dukh be at peace. Our bhautik dukh be at peace. And devik dukh be at peace. Once again, take one deep, long breath in. And while exhaling, slowly open your eyes. Namaste, Jai Gurudev. So friends, we were discussing about this fourfold strategy. This was the first lesson of Mahatma Buddha in the form of Four Noble Truths. It is very much similar to the medical science. The same strategy is applied in this inner journey in analyzing the life phenomena. So yesterday we have discussed about Heya, which is to be avoided. No one wants suffering in this world, and therefore the suffering falls under the category of Heya. So as the disease, unless we understand the cause, similarly, and unless we understand the Hetu, the cause of this suffering, we will not be able to take any measure to overcome this suffering. And Patanjali has made it clear that drashta drishya sanyogo, the misassociation or the association of the seer with the seen, is said to be the cause of the problem, the cause of the suffering. And these two Han and Hanopaya, the treatment part that will be discussed here, we were discussing about what is drashta, what is drishya, and what is sanyoga. So let us complete this one and then we'll come back to this. So drishya, yesterday we have discussed in detail. This sutra gives us three aspects. First, the nature of this universe, and this universe is divided into two parts, bhutatmak and indriyatmak, means living and non-living being, and it has a specific purpose. It is a bhoga apavargartham. The purpose is to provide the experience as well as the freedom from the experience. So this is what is the purpose of this. Yesterday we have discussed about that prakashakta belongs to the sattva, illumination. Kriya, activity, belongs to the rajoguna, and sthiti shilam, which restricts the activity, is tamoguna. Now these three gunas, our ancient masters, they have tried to understand the reality of this universe with the help of these three sattva, rajas, and tamas. And now the physical scientists, they are also trying to understand the secret of this material world with the help of these three only. Wherein they used to call it sattva is a protonic energy, and other one, this kriya, is electronic energy, rajoguna, and sthiti shilam is the inertia. That is the mass according to them. So they are also trying to understand the secret of this material, and our ancient people, they have also tried the same. So these three things are depicted in this sutra in detail. We have discussed in detail this, and again, yesterday I was talking about the sugar cane, and there is a knot in the sugar canes in between that is called parva. So it is divided, the whole universe is divided into the four parva. That is Vishesh, particularized, it was discussed, there are 16 elements. And here you can see the Tanmatra and Asmita, it is Avishesh, because they are cause as well as the effect. Now, thereafter comes the Ling Matra, that is the Mahat at the individual level, it is called Buddhi, intellect. So it is also a cause as well as the effect. It is the effect of the Alinga and cause of the Avishesha, means the Asmita and the Tanmatra. And Alinga, this is called, it is without any sign, without any emblem. So therefore it is called Alinga. It is not, it cannot be seen. It is said in Sankhya Karika, Karitas tadupalabdhe, only because of its effect only it can be inferred. It can be inferred, Karitas tadupalabdhe. So this is called. So from Ling Matra to the Vishesha, it is called manifested world. This Aling is unmanifested, and this Purush is said to be the Gya. So this all, this manifested, unmanifested, and the Gya, this is what is the purpose. Unless we know what is self, unless we do not know what is not self, it is not easy to understand. Therefore, in the process of Samapatti, we have discussed this Shabda, when we were discussing about Samapattis, Savitarka Samapatti, wherein we have seen the gross aspect of this universe. This is up to the Vishesha. And then we have started the inner journey thereafter with the help of Savichara, Nirvichara, and it was discussed with you that Suksham Vishyatvam cha Alinga, Alinga Paryavasanam, it goes up to the Alinga. So this Sukshamata, and thereafter that light, And that is what the motionless light is now, what you call, dawns. It can be observed thereafter. So this is what is the, so now this is the what you call the manifested world. Now here, yesterday I was talking that when we see ourselves, separate ourselves, this universe is separate. We think that along with this body, mind, organism, we are the seer principle, and whatever we see, it is a seen. That is called drishya. We forget that this body, mind, organism is also a part of this cosmos. It is observable. It can be observed. As yesterday, it was hinted in Taittiriya Upanishad, this Annamaya Kosha, the Pranamaya Kosha, and when you dive deep into, you can understand we are not Pran, we are not the Manas, we are not the Vigyan, the intellect. Ultimately, we reach to by analyzing, this is all is observable. So in spite of that, this is the mistake we used to call it. That is what is the yoga, the wrong mistake, what you call the misassociation or wrong association. So ultimately, when we reach to that state, as we used to say that sun and the light and heat of the sun is inseparable from the sun. Similarly, this nature, this mother nature is also inseparable. Actually speaking, when we reach to that state, we realize this. So then there's no, what you call, but the problem is, just to give you an example, if the patient identifies himself with the physician, then the patient can come out of the problem from his disease. But if the physician identifies himself with the patient, then there is a difficulty. So here, so long we are not observing this. So when this misassociation is established, and on the basis of that we are behaving in this universe, it means that the physician somewhere or other has identified himself with the patient and therefore is suffering. So this is what is to be. So this universe is ultimately is the power of this, as the sun, as the light and heat is the power of the sun, which is inseparable. Similarly, this is also inseparable ultimately. So let us discuss now what is drashta. Drashta means the seer principle. This is to be. So drashta, it is said, drishi matra, only having the, what you call, the witnessing principle. Drishi matra. Matra means only. Only witnessing principle is said to be drashta. Shuddhopi, though it is a pure. Shuddhopi, it is a pure. Here is the word shuddhopi. Drashta, drishi matra, shuddhopi, though it is a pure. But pratyay. Pratyay means the content of the chitta. Anupashya, it follows that. It sees that whatever is going on in the chitta, though it is a pure, but because of the reflection, it considers that it is happening with me. See, I am thinking, therefore I am. It means the reaction is there. Otherwise, this drashta is only having the, what you call, the ability to see, only witnessing principle. But so long witnessing the content of the chitta, whatever is going on, whatever the thought, it gets carried away along with that. So that is called drashta. So long it gets carried away and therefore feels happy and unhappy, this and that. So this is called drashta. And that is the reason why when Patanjali says in the third sutra of the first chapter, wherein he says, Tada drashtu sarupe avasthanam. Then this drashta, the seer principle, get established or abides in its true nature. So that what is the true nature? This drishi matra, only having the capacity to see, or in Asmita Klish, Drik Shakti, in other words, Chiti Shakti. So long it witnessing the content of the chitta and there is a reaction, it is called drashta, seer principle. This is to be, so somewhere or other, this is a admixture of two things. Means the observable as well as the observer. Both are here blended together and therefore it is called drashta. When this drashta, there's no reaction in this drashta, it is only drik shakti, chitti shakti, that is the pure, what you call the conscious phenomena. In other words, this is to, it is only Patanjali who talks like this, Shuddhopi Pratyanupasya, although it is a pure, but because of the reflection, it gets, when this, when there's a moon or sun in the sky, and you see if in the water, so it is a kind of reflection, that kind of, otherwise there's no. It was discussed that when the chit becomes a crystal clear, whatever you put before the crystal, this crystal, it assumes the form of that particular object. But if you remove this object away from the vicinity of this chitta, or from this crystal is clear. It never retains. So there's no ideations now. There's nothing is there now. So that kind of what you call that state is said to be the what you call the samapatti state. That is the state. So drashta, drishi matra, drashta is said to be only the seeing principle, though it is a pure, but pratyanupasya, whatever is happening in the chitta, it considers that it is happening with me. This is what the purpose, tadartheva drishyasya. Tadarth means drishya. Drishya means this, whatever we have discussed, the prakash kriyasthiti shilam, this sutra, prakash kriyasthiti shilam, this all, and this vishesha vishesha, everything, it. What is the purpose of this drishya? Only for the sake of this tadartheva, only for the sake of this drashta. And therefore, they are said to be gunas, sattva and tamas. So drishyasya atma, what is the essence of this drishya? Why it exists? Only for the sake of this drashta. That is what it says. So tadartheva drishyasya atma. Then it says, now, kirtartham prati nashtam tadapi anashtam tadanya sadharanatva. Now, the seer principle, when it gets established in its true nature, that is drik shakti, or what you call the chitti shakti, then he is said to be, he has done away with everything. He is kirtartha now, means liberated now. Kirtartham prati nashtam, for him, this, what you call the prakriti, this universe, in other words, does not exist. It's a beautiful kirtartham prati nashtam. Nashtam should not be considered, because it was discussed in Sankhya Yoga theory. Nothing is new under the sun. Nashtam means एक चीज का तिरोभाव होता है, दूसरी चीज का प्रादुर्भाव होता है. So when this Purush is liberated, when it gets established in its true form, for him, this universe does not exist. Now the question is, which universe? The universe with which he was identifying himself, that particularly. I used to say, once this discussion was going on, it was, although on Vedanta Brahm Satyam Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahm Ekyam. So some student asked me this question. Which Jagat is Mithya? Brahm Satyam, Jagat Mithya. Jagat Mithya, false. This word is said to be false. Jivo Brahm Ekyam. Jeev and Brahm, there's no difference at all. So which Jagat is Mithya? So I immediately, the thought came in my mind and I answered this question by saying that the Jagat which I have created, that Jagat is Mithya. This Jagat is not created by me. This Jagat which gives you air to breathe, this Jagat gives you everything. How this Jagat can be Mithya? This Jagat cannot be Mithya. The Jagat, the universe, that universe is Mithya, which I have created. When I go to sleep and when I dream, in the dream, that Jagat is mine. I have created that Jagat. So each one of us has created our own world in which we are living, the whole. And what is that? It is a me and mine. This is the Jagat. So for the person who has liberated himself, for him this Jagat does not exist, in other words. But this Jagat exists, but this universe exists for those who have not yet liberated. For them, this Jagat liberates. So whatever the ideation or choices we have made, all these ideations and choices, this all will be banished for the person who is liberated. For him, this does not exist. It exists for those who have not yet liberated. And that is the reason why Patanjali has mentioned that Kirtartham Pratinashtam, the person who is liberated, for him it does not exist. However, it is anashtam, it exists. Tad anya sadharanatvat, those who have not yet liberated, for them it exists. Now, thereafter he says, So Swami Shaktyo Surupo. What is the purpose? Now, up to this point, we have discussed about Drashta, Drishya, and now the third one is the Sanyoga. What is this Sanyoga? Why this association? As I was talking, we do not know the beginning of this association. And the Sankhya philosophy does not have any answer. When this Sanyoga was happened, we do not know. So, Swaswami Shaktyo. This Purusha Shakti is said to be the Swami Shakti. Swaswami Shakti. This is the power. In other words, as in Vedanta philosophy, we used to call that this Maya is the power of Brahman. Similarly, here we have to apply that the sun and this heat and light of the sun, they are inseparable. Similarly, here this Prakriti is also inseparable. So, Swaswami Shaktyo Srupo Palabdhi Hetu. Sanyoga. Why this is Sanyoga? Only to get established in our own Sarupa. So, this is the purpose of Sanyoga. Yesterday, I was talking about the lamb and the blind person, you know. So, land and blind person. What is that? Blind is the Prakriti and lamb is Purusha because he is inactive. And Prakriti is active because of the presence of this. So that is what. So Surupa Palabdhi comes out of the forest. So to be the view to establish one's own Sarupa. Now the Prakriti's guna were also disturbed. And they also become in the Samya Avastha, in the equipoise state. They become what you call the equipoise state. That is called Prakriti, which is said to be this Aling Mat. Ling, not Ling Mat. It is Aling, where there's no emblem at all, there's no sign. That is the balanced state of this threefold energy, sattva, rajas, and tamas. So they also stay in the balanced state, and Purush also, this drashta gets established in its own swarupa, that is called Chitti Shakti. And that is the reason why we were quoting this Purushartha Shunyanam. There's no job left to the gunas, and therefore they also in the balanced state. They reach to the balanced state. That is the purpose. So both Prakriti also gets established in the balanced state, and this what you call the Purush also reach to the this drashta reach to the Chitti Shakti in the abides in its own self. So this is what is the purpose. Why this sanyoga was happened? It is only because of the avidya. It is said tasya hetu. What is the cause of this association? It is only because of avidya. That is what. So avidya is responsible for this misassociation, and this misassociation give rise to the I amness, and then this raga dvesh and the whole, we are lost in this world. So this is what is the avidya. And then Patanjali says this is called the second, but called the ana, third pillar of that strategy. Tad abhavat. When there's no avidya, when there's no this means mistaken error. Avidya is a mistaken error. It was discussed that it is inherited. We have brought this along with our birth. So we do not know the beginning, but it can be overcome. So tad abhavat, when there's no this wrong knowledge, what happens? Yoga abhava. There will be no misassociation. There will be no association. When there's no association, anam. That is what is the ultimate state. Tad drishi, again drishi shakti. That is what is the Chitti Shakti. That is what is the Kevalyam. That is what is the freedom, emancipation, aloneness of that, what you call the entity called Drishi Shakti. Drishi Shakti, Chitti Shakti, these are the names of the pure consciousness. So tad abhavat, when there's no avidya, then so avidya somewhere or other. What is that avidya? Reminding you once again, when we are considering impermanent as permanent, which is impure, we are considering it pure. Which is painful, we are considering it pleasurable. And which is not self, we are considering it self. This is called, when this kind of knowledge, vidya, avidya khyati and anyata khyati, there are two terms used in Sankhya philosophy. Vidya, in anyata khyati means vidya khyati in other words. Vidya khyati and avidya khyati. So when there's no khyati means light, the wisdom. When there's no avidya, there's a vidya khyati, there's a light of wisdom. When there's a light of wisdom, there will be no, as you remove the what you call the curtains, and there's a sun. Sun is already there. Just what we have to do is we have to remove the curtain. This curtain can be removed only with the vidya khyati. In the light of wisdom, light of knowledge. Our own sarupa is also knowledge. So when this light of wisdom, in the light of wisdom, this what you call the curtain will be removed. And when this curtain is removed, there will be no sanyoga, there will be no association. And that state is said to be the kaivalya. That state is freedom, emancipation, liberation, whatever we want to call it. So this is called what you call the third pillar of this strategy, four-fold strategy. And now, what is the treatment? How to remove? How to remove? What is the treatment? So Patanjali has made it clear, wherein Buddha says Ashtamag, and here Vivek Khatir Abhiplava Hano Paya. This is the fourth, what you call the pillar of this analysis or this strategy. What is treatment upaya? Upaya means treatment. What is the upaya? Viveka khyati. But which kind of viveka khyati? Because viveka, at this moment also we have knowledge of this universe. Although this knowledge is based because of this avidya. So it says that knowledge. But we have heard about this Sat Chit Ananda. Nenam chindanti shastrani, nenam dahati pavaka. This we have heard this. Today in the afternoon, Gurudev recited this, this Atmashtak. Few verses of Atmashtak today in the afternoon session when we were meditating. So we have heard this. So this heard knowledge or the inferential knowledge, it cannot help us. It is not the proper treatment. It can give you some solace at the superficial level. But if we want to this permanent, what you call the solution, then we have to develop that knowledge on the basis of our own concrete experiences. Biplab it is not wavering, it's not wavering knowledge. It is not, plub means to swim, floating. And when we add this, plub means floating. As you know, plavani pranayam, there is a plavani, as if the person when breathe in, after breathing in, if you maintain the kumbhaka in antar kumbhaka, as if you can feel during that time in plavani kumbhaka, as the person can float on the surface of the water without any movement, he can float. Similarly, that kind of experience when person is practicing this plavani pranayam, one can experience that. So plab means floating. But this floating or wavering, what you call, B, when we add this B, and before that abiplab, is a nanj samas we used to call in Sanskrit, it is called negative. So when it is not a wavering knowledge, it's not a shaking knowledge. The knowledge which is based on the books or based on the shruti, which is not yet experienced, it can help you to a certain extent. But when someone comes and challenges that your knowledge is limited, it says something different. So it means that this is what you call the shaking knowledge. So unshaking knowledge is said to be the treatment for this. And this unshaking knowledge having the 7 stages. What are the 7 stages? That we'll discuss tomorrow. We'll stop here, just giving you the summary of today's talk. So we have discussed about the fourfold strategy, which is considered to be the first lesson of this Indian philosophy. When the ancient masters analyzed the life phenomena, and they came to the conclusion that so long we are living mechanically in this universe, we cannot escape from the suffering. So they analyze the suffering, and on the basis of their analysis, they have established that through man-made means, we cannot overcome our suffering permanently. You can overcome these sufferings temporarily at the superficial level, but if we want to overcome this suffering permanently, then we have to follow the fourfold strategy, which is followed in medical science also. So medical science gives you the temporary solace. But this process the first lesson of Buddha, or this strategy, which is, it is not only Buddha or Patanjali, almost except the Charvaka, all have accepted this fourfold strategy. And this fourfold strategy is not only applicable to the spiritual journey, but it is applicable also for the day-to-day life. Day-to-day life, what is the cause for which I am suffering? What is the problem? Why I am thinking like this? What is the cause of this? And likewise, if we apply this in our day-to-day life, wherever we are, we can be successful wherever we are. So this fourfold strategy, while analyzing, they said that no one wants dukkha in this universe. So this falls under the category of a heya. So what is the cause? So the mistaking the seer and drashta drishya sanyogo heya hetu. That is what is the association, misassociation. What is drashta? What is drishya? This we have discussed. And what is drashta? This is also discussed. And what is the now the hana? What is the third? When there's no avidya, when you remove the curtain of this wrong knowledge, then there will be what you call, there will be no misassociation, and the Chiti Shakti or the Drashta gets established in its own Swarupa, that is called Kaivalyam, that is called what you call the, and to remove this, what is the treatment? Treatment is unshaking knowledge, means the bookish knowledge, the heard knowledge, the inferential knowledge cannot help. This knowledge can develop a little ambience to a certain extent, but thereafter, unless you experience it on the basis of, it should be based on our own concrete experiences, then only it will be aviplab, unshaking knowledge. So that will help. And this aviplab viveka khyati is also having the four grounds, sapta grounds. And this is what first part is the functional part, and the rest part is the Chit Mukti that we'll discuss tomorrow. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. We'll complete this session with prayer. So please, once again, sit upright and gently close your eyes. Take one deep, long breath in and let go. Now breathe in for prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Once again, take one deep, long breath in. And while exhaling, slowly open your